First of all, thanks for giving us this interview.
Well, it's our
I would
pleasure.
like to know more about the plot choice for this game, since we are in the era where female characters in game are gaining more space, right? So, how do you see the impact on the public and the influence of an America Pakistani woman in the plot?
Lauren, would you like to?
Yeah, I would love to. I would love to take this question. Kamala Khan is really the unique and perfect perspective for our game, right? It's all about bringing the Avengers together, and she really takes the basically the best qualities of each Avenger and kind of shows them who they are and how much influence and good they could do in the world, right? By being that super fan, and then becomes a superhero, right, in her own right.
Yeah.
It's really that personal journey, but also, right, that universal journey. And it's the message that we need for our times, right? Especially today with COVID, when you can't come together, right, in person, you can come together in our beta. You can come together as the Avengers. And not just bringing together the Avengers, but you're bringing together, right, your friends. This is like your family. This story is really that message that we hope that everybody, right, when they get and they play that single player core campaign, get all of that narrative, get the personal relationships between Kamala Khan, Bruce Banner, and then, right, Miss Marvel and Hulk, right, transcending all of that and really creating that message of hope, right, even in the darkest of times.
Yeah.
And even simpler, I think, Lauren, you say it quite well, that Kamala unifies the Avengers.
Kamala unifies.
Unifying, right? We're bringing people together. We're bringing players together. One of our hashtags you've probably seen in our marketing materials is embrace your powers. Because we really do think, Sean Askai, who's our creative director, often talks about that narrative thread. It's that, we are stronger because of our differences. That is a message that is unilateral. Like, no matter what period of time, no matter what's happening, that we really genuinely believe that. And Crystal, through how we work, how we build our teams, how we build our studios, how we build our games, and the stories we want to tell. So being able to have that sensibility to it, that unification. So for us, it is a dream to be able to take that personal passion, turn that into our profession, then give that to the world and share that with people and say, no, we're all in this together. So for me, it's incredibly motivating every day to get up there and bring joy to the world.
Good to know.
Yes, absolutely.
So, for you guys, what is the biggest challenge of developing this game combat mechanics? Because the combat sometimes involves several characters fighting and the highly destructible maps in addition to the characters of each hero. It's insane.
It's insane. That's exactly.
Yes.
Lauren, do you want to talk about these guys?
Yeah, I can definitely start this off with the combat. Man, honestly, like, when you work on a game at this size and with all of these unique heroes, like, the biggest challenge is always going to be how do these play together. But it's an easy challenge to overcome in a multiplayer title because then you sit your team down and you play that game together. And so when we have created these heroes, we've really looked at all of that year of history and we've asked ourselves, like, what is the best Black Widow that she can be? Like, Scott talks on this a lot, and so does Vince Napoli in all of his, right, I'm sure you've seen his interviews, where what is the combat direction if we were going to make a Black Widow game? What's the combat if we were going to make an Iron Man game, a Thor game? Taking all of those heroes and then putting them together, right, with our tight-knit team of animators, engineers, designers. We're all looking at it, playing those heroes. And you've even seen it in the trailer, which is, right, captured in co-op. So you're seeing, right, Hulk throwing an enemy and then Kamala whacking it out of the way and then Iron Man shooting it from above. Like, that's
they are so
how
different.
The game plays.
Yeah.
Yep. They're absolutely different, right? But then they're also better together. So once again, right, it's about how all of their unique skill sets match each other. And it's especially true, right, with Kamala Khan becoming Miss Marvel. Her hero skills and her hero sets. And I'm not sure if you guys have had a chance to play the beta, but I'm sure if you have, you will you'll see her skill sets, right, lean on all of that history, not just from her own comics, right, but from our own, right, Avengers and our unique take on it. And so it's just been absolutely a joy, right, to work with Marvel and to work with our design team to get all of that comic set.
By the way, the design is amazing. Good job.
Oh, well, That's very well.
Thank
Let
you.
the team know. Certainly, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Vince,
Yeah, absolutely.
You heard Lauren mention Vince. He's our secret weapon. Like he lives and breathes combat and characters and heroes, and like he's from old school EA days. Then he was at God of War, and he did the most recent God of War combat. And when we brought him on, it was literally that challenge of saying to him, Vince, help us figure this out. Like, we know how to make Lara Croft and Tomb Raider.
Mhm.
This is starting with all these heroes, and some are on the ground, and some are in the air, and some throw shields, and some summon lightning. And it was really a difficult problem to hand him and his team, the entire combat team, and say, what do you guys got? And so they started what Lauren said. What is the Black Widow game? Let's make that one first, and then this one, and then this one, and they've just kept adding to that. And so now that we've announced Hawkeye and we've announced other heroes that are coming, it's like, oh my God, we have to keep adding those people into this world and say they can still play together. You can still have Iron Man and Hawkeye playing through the content that they have and still feeling unique and powerful and like a team. And I think that's one of those magic tricks that people just won't expect. It's not something usual. It's not any other game where you have shooters and classes. It's like this is Hawkeye, this is Iron Man, this is this hero.
Yeah.
Yet they have to play together. So it is a remarkable feat what this team has accomplished. I'm so proud of them.
And we can't wait for you to experiment and play with them in the beta. I will just add that.
I can't wait too.
I can't.
So, we know that Marvel Universe is very extensive, right? And you have even announced the first DLC with the character Hawkeye, and now Spider-Man.
I know.
Insane. Spider-Man, right?
Blown.
Yeah. I would like to know if you already plan an expansion of this universe for the game, since it would be cross-gen.
So it'll be, if you mean playing together like PS4 and PS5, you can play cross-generational together.
Yeah.
So if you're on a PS4 and I'm on a PS5 and Lauren's on a PS4, they can all play to each other. So we want that to be announced. We don't have cross ecosystem, so it's not PlayStation to Xbox, but all Xboxes will play together and all PlayStations will play together.
Yep.
Does that answer? Does that?
And about the DLCs, futures DLCs, you already planned something?
There will be future DLCs.
Okay.
It is, as you said, right? It is Marvel itself as a universe is already expansive, and Marvel itself, right? What the properties they're doing are ever expanding.
Yeah.
So you can expect the same, right, of our game as an ever-expanding universe that will really, truly last for years to come, with more heroes like Hawkeye and Spider-Man that we can publicly tell you.
Well, you can imagine, Lauren and I have been living with this secret for a little while. So like a year ago, people were like, "Where's Hawkeye? Where's Hawkeye?" And we're like, "Just give us some time. We will let you know." And I think that's the secret to us, is that there's a long future roadmap laid out of heroes and of worlds and of expansions. But to get there, we love listening to our fans. That's why the betas are so important. Being able to play it, there will be bugs, there will be issues. People will find things like, "Great, help us find those."
Little bugs, really.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Certainly, they're giant to us because we don't want anybody to have any bug. But for us, the more people play, honestly, we get metrics and feedback that we have teams dedicated daily fixing anything people find and saying, "Great, when's the next update? When's the next like we're really making that kind of, the game launches, but it's not the end. That's just the beginning." And as you can tell from adding a Hawkeye, adding a Spider-Man, I almost said another character's name, so I had to be careful there.
I was looking at the camera. I was like, "Don't you dare!" I'm your game designer. I refuse. No.
Sorry. But there is so much more to come that I really do think people don't know what to expect. They saw Crystal Dynamics and they saw us last year and they're like, "Oh, this is just this linear game." Like, you got no idea. Like, wait until we can get this into your hands and you can start seeing it. And there will be people who are like, "I'm not sure this is my kind of thing. I wanted this game or that game." And there's people who are like, "Oh my God, this is the dream that I've had of having the Avengers and a superhero fantasy that I can go and play this world endlessly and keep adding to it." So I think we're going to really surprise people with how big the scope is and what they can do.
And last but not least, I'm very curious to know what about is your favorite character, Scott and Lauryn? And if you like to give some strategy types, because brutal is really brutal in this game.
It is very hard.
Yes.
My favorite character. So this is a very tough one, and it's one of those things that I have played all of them very, very much, and I will say the way I will judge this is not that who is my favorite, because they are all, you have to love all your children, right, at some point. And the idea of Kamala is so unique and fresh. Black Widow is so surprising in her combat. Hulk is just a fun rage machine to bash through stuff. Even though you get to play Cap just a little bit before he gets killed at the beginning, like he's such a true blue American hero. Like going through all of the heroes, the one I play the most is Iron Man. And the reason I play Iron Man the most,
Iron Man
dude, he's exactly right. I mean, the guy, he's got everything. He's got all the gadgets, all the toys. I can be long range. I can be in the middle of it. I can be helping people.
Yeah.
So the fact
War
that I
Machine,
have this
complete War Machine.
so that diversity of I can be up close and in your face, or I can be long range and sniping. All the tech, I just love the tech, the whole high tech gadgets. I can fly. Like at some point, how do you beat that? So I play him the most. Is he my favorite? By the amount of time I put into him, probably. But overall, again, these characters are all so amazing. It's hard to say it's a favorite as opposed to the one I play the most. So I will leave that there for you, Lauren.
Yeah, no, it's funny that you mentioned, right, being able to switch between ranged and melee, being able to have different combos. You have all the tech, the gadgets, but at the end of the day, you were actually just as souped up, right, as every other hero. And for me, that's Black Widow.
She's really fast, right?
So fast.
Oh. She's so fast, and after, right, I play a lot of combo games where there's aerial combos, and you're super fast, you just evade and dodge everywhere. And for anybody that loves that kind of fast-paced melee combat, quick evade, get out, strike down, right, invisibility, and then range, just everything, right? My pro tip, right, for people playing is, like, really invest right in your skill trees, and then start paying attention to how your gear intersects and relates to it, right? The relationship between our gear and our skills is very strong. And it's just so much more, right, fun when you take on your brutal challenges with just the mastery of, I can lay on all these combos and I can be amazing in the battlefield, but then but you've got your gear to back you up. I'm gonna be more strategized with better range. I'm built to take a lot of damage. Because even Widow can take a lot of damage. Yeah. And looking back to our comic book inspirations, a lot of people don't know that, right, in some issues, Black Widow was a souped up, right, Russian's version of Captain America. So she is, right, just as strong and just as powerful as everyone there.
I guess I missed my pro tip. My pro tip for my pro tip for Iron Man for being brutal is Hulkbuster. There's no way around it. That once you figure out the right gear, once you actually figure out the abilities to actually get that ultimate heroic out there, oh my gosh, it is the way that you can get through a lot of intense combats quickly, because you can absorb almost all damages. There's still a few damage types that hurt him, but you can absorb most of the electric, most of the fire, any of the cryo. So there's things that you can do as Hulkbuster that just let you survive those really desperate combats, but don't use it prematurely.
Yeah.
It's one of those great things that you save.
Only.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things that you save, and then it's one of those, he just has so many, it's like two characters in one. You've got your Iron Man, and then you have this whole other thing. Yeah. And something that you guys don't get to see in the beta is that Hulkbuster is customizable as well. It's something that when you actually get the main game, there's a whole nother panel of skills that is just this tree just for Hulkbuster, for what you can do to upgrade the abilities inside of Hulkbuster. So it's one of those things that in the beta, it is a great pro tip of work to get that one charged up. If you can find gear that can help charge up your ultimate heroic faster, use it, because it'll save your ass in those hard situations.
Thank you guys. The types is really amazing. I will use.
Excellent. Well, that's great to hear. All right. Well, thank you guys. That's been a lot of fun.
Thank you,
I appreciate you guys taking the time.
Yeah.
Thank
you. Our
you.
pleasure.
Guys.